Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon WoofGold and Master Silver. This time we're on episode 2 and it will be a bit shorter this time. Because today, instead of doing the entire first gym, we are just going to go down to Union Cave and finish that. For those who are unaware, this is a ROM hack I made and released about a year ago. And I wasn't going to do a series on it, but Seal99 Plays and their friend Strange have been doing a Soul Link of my Nuzlocke. And I thought, you know what, that's a good idea. A video series on this would be a good way to get back into video editing, because, like, I don't like video editing that much. It's kind of a big thing that's prevented me from making a lot more YouTube content. Every time I have a good idea, I like scripting, I like concepts, I like thumbnail creation, but I don't like the editing. The editing always takes me out of the mood for it. And sure enough, I'm now back at this, and even though the editing was really simple in the last episode, just a few cuts, I still thought the editing was the most annoying part. But last episode was long enough for me to get a bit more used to doing basic cuts at least. I actually do want to make a lot more YouTube content, but it'll probably be more like gaming type content, like gameplay, like stream highlights, stuff like that. Oh, Gaia has an item, an antidote. Because that type of thing, when it comes to the big scripted game design, like analytical game design videos I like to make, it's a bit rough. It is a bit rough trying to make those when you don't like editing. Those are very highly edited videos. Like, I have an unfinished video that's been sitting in my backlog for like 2 years, and I'm probably not gonna finish it. I forgot to deposit a Pokemon in the PC. I think for now, I'm going to deposit Glenn. Because, like, these three aren't permanent team members. Glenn will have plenty of time to catch up. Especially since it's a water type. It can level grind on Geodudes and Onyxes in Union Cave real easy. If you're noticing I'm sounding a bit more lively and energetic this time, I'm gonna try and do that. I felt real bored listening to myself last time. I tried to be a bit quiet last time because I'm on the other side of the wall from my mother, who's often trying to sleep. But her hearing isn't the best, so I'm gonna see if I can push my luck and talk more at like a room volume instead of whispering, you know? With the earbuds in, it's also kind of just generally hard to judge how loud I'm being. I thought I was being louder than I was until I went into editing. I actually ended up turning myself up a little bit. The editing. But yeah, these episodes are generally going to vary a lot in length, but they're not. The first one should definitely be the longest. Since there's the whole issue of I just completely forgot to record the first episode initially, which is why I had to redo it and then do Faulkner in the same episode. Shout out to Seal99 Plays if you're watching this. I just got done watching the episode where you forgot to have Strange's audio turned on. I'm glad that we both made that type of mistake this week. And good luck on Whitney, which I'm assuming is going to be next part. That is easier than Bugsy. I think in vanilla, Bugsy is easier than Whitney. I mean, harder than Whitney, and the same thing goes here. But Whitney can still be a problem. I think after Whitney, you'll be fine until Jasmine. Because again, this isn't like a difficulty hack. If I ever get a grass-type move on Hoppip, this will be useful. Wait, do I have a grass-type move? I don't think I do. I mean, I do. Not a good one. Oh, before I forget, I need to change my settings back, because I know I accidentally turned off the animations going into Faulkner fight last time. But yeah, there's a few encounters on this route we haven't seen yet. We've seen plenty of this one. But I know there's also, Zatu, or, like, whatever the pre-evolution is, I think it's Natu. It's like a 4%. I think there's Ekans at certain times of day. There's a very small chance for Yanma. Yanma can be found here. It's more common in, like, Route 35 bug catching contest areas. But it can be found. I'm just gonna go no here. I don't want to deal with static. I think Poison Sting counts as contact. The animation doesn't look contact, but I'm assuming you're like kind of stabbing with like a part of your body, even though the animation looks like a projectile. That Psywave did decent damage. Another roll like that and it should die. Like, I think that was like slightly above average, but it could have gone better, and that one was just bad. Yeah, for those who are just tuning in and, believe it or not, skipped out on the first episode because it was 2 hours long, yep, I made this ROM hack, and I'm mainly gonna use a team full of Pokemon that I think have interesting things about them. So, believe it or not, even though I did change my, two of the starters, Tambora being one of them, I'm not going to actually use my starter. There's another fire type I think is more interesting to use that I'm going to be getting later. And as you can see, we have the Misdreavus, which is pretty cool. Just because a Pokemon isn't going to be a permanent team member doesn't mean we're not going to try using it though. Like, we have Beedrill, we have Cyndaquil, we have Hoppip. Like, those are all Pokemon we're not going to be using long term. But we're going to get to show them off. You know, I keep thinking that you would do more damage with Astonish, because like its stab and your attack isn't that much lower than your special attack. But no, Psywave really is the way to go here. At the low end, it matches Astonish in terms of damage. Unfortunately, this is taking a long time, because this is the harder version of the ROM hack, where everything has perfect IVs. If y'all hear that, my dog is currently leaving. They go do somewhere. Go do something somewhere. And we are back. Sorry. There was multiple forms of background noise on all fronts there. I forget what this trainer's name is. I know a lot of good trainer names in this game at this point. I want to say it's Gina, but I think Gina's on Route 34. Liz, that's his name. Picnicker Liz. Yeah, Picnicker Gina is the one on Route 34. Okay, we should be immune from Poison Point. I forget Beedrill's buffs exactly, but it does have stat buffs. One more hit of Fury attack should do it. And there we go, and I think next is... No, we already fought the guy with the Zubat. Oh wait, no, it's just one Pokemon. But yeah, personally, I'm excited for Union Cave, because I I made quite a few changes to Union Cave. And we are back after an hour of interruptions. Okay, where were we? Yeah, let's just keep showing off Beedrill. We'll probably be showing off Hoppip quite a bit, Babu once we get into Union Cave. But first, an encounter. Just a Mareep, okay. Yeah, that was annoying. Some people do not know how to keep the noise down. In case y'all missed part 1, which is understandable because it's about an hour, like it's 2 hours long. Because I'm at home taking care of my mother, who's a bit older, and we don't have enough bedrooms, I live in the living room, and there is no door separating me from any noise when I'm recording. Also, sorry if I sound a bit different since the last cut. There's been a lot of allergies lately, and I was just outside doing a couple chores right quick, taking out the trash and all that while I was waiting for the noise to die down. And my nose is suddenly killing me. My nose and throat are just so bad all of a sudden. But alas, we march on. Let's do this section first. Let's skip you, I want to do you in a moment. Yeah, as we can see, there's Sentret on this route. Sentret normally isn't in the route. Seal 99 plays, if you're seeing this, because I'm assuming you probably won't see the entire 2 episodes of part 1, feel free to check like a Pokédex entry for like Sentret and see what locations it appears on. I showed it off last time, but it isn't working on this specific version that I'm playing, which is a bit unfortunate. But like, if a Pokemon has a changed location, it will now appear, it's supposed to appear properly. In terms of, on the Pokédex, most ROM hacks don't do that. And apparently this version, Master Silver Hard Mode, doesn't do that either, because it's only showing something like Mischievous and Cliff Cave, when it is in other areas. So yeah, feel free to check it out. Who knows, you might discover some of the encounters y'all haven't found. You might realize some certain encounters are on different routes. Bullet Seed isn't buffed because I don't think this ROM hack needs a 25 power multi-hit grass type move. I think I'm going to wait on this, because I think you should learn a different grass-type move relatively quickly. I forget when exactly, but you should learn Absorb at some point, and that would probably be better for the health regen. Plus, I have another mon I might use Bullet Seed on later. It is indeed a bit intriguing. I was only outside for about 40 seconds. How did it make me this much worse? I am suffering. Good news is, this episode won't be very long. Now that we're finally moving, we can head straight to Union Cave. I forgot this thing had Peck, and that was a crit. Okay. Ember can help avoid the poison point. These IVs really do make a difference, huh? Like, reminder, this is a modest Cyndaquil, like, and we're only, like, this is only doing enough damage to 3, maybe even 4-shot this thing from full. Like, it took 3 hits after Beedrill had already done something. I need to check what Beedrill's buff stats are, because I forget what they are. I'll put them on screen right about now. Let's get this right quick. Yeah, you're probably noticing there's only a small difference in the wild Pokemon level curve. Because again, I think until we reach about Ilex Forest. Like, Ilex Forest is where I think we start to see our first main level curve issues in the vanilla game. Because Ilex Forest is, like, normally way lower level than the surrounding wild Pokemon areas, which makes it impossible to try and use any of those Pokemon. Well, not impossible, but it's just kind of weird. Because Route 33 will have, like, level 8 and 9. Route 34 will have, like, 10 to 12. Route, like, Ilex Forest is rocking, like, level 5 and 6. Again, sorry for all the sniffles. Okay, this should be easy, even though it has Hypnosis. I'm not sure what about the AI is telling it to Water Sport there. Obviously the AI for trainers isn't random like it is with wild Pokemon. But it isn't that much better than it is in the main games. Like, a few more trainers use the expert level AI. But that's mostly reserved for boss fights. Maybe it was level 9 we got Hypnosis. I don't fully remember. Oh, there it is. Luckily, this thing can't really threaten us. In fact, I'm just gonna tackle. Yeah, just save your PP on Gus. That's a lot of EXP. So yeah, I guess it's gonna try to Water Sport turn 1, and then we damage a bit, and then it'll kind of do either Bubble or Hypnosis. Sorry about that, I'm trying to see if I can just, in one fell swoop, get the sniffles out of me, and I don't think it worked, so I'm just not gonna try. I'll just pull through to the end of this episode, and it should be better next time. Yeah, actually having a flying type stab makes such a huge difference. I know last time I mentioned how in playtesting, just having like Gust plus a good support move pool. I was getting used out of Gust even in the Elite Four, because like you're not using this thing for damage. Like just having an extra source of damage to go with your other moves is all you need with this thing. But I am definitely glad that in later playtests I was looking through the files to double check this when editing. But I did actually give it another flying type move. I forget it. I didn't check the level up moveset, but I know it at least gets fly as an HM. I don't think Hoppip actually needs that much in terms of new moves, because it's fine on its own. Oh, this is gonna fucking take forever. Super Potion, okay. Yeah, let's just go something that hits a bit harder. I'm really hoping to just, since this guy has 4 Magikarps, I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping to just tackle myself down. I mean, take down myself down to a point where a flail recoil will be worth it. Can this be a stronger Magikarp, please? There we go. That is going to take a while. Oh, but that crit helps. No, it's gonna take me down to 10 HP. I'm gonna start flailing. I'm fine with that. Flail won't miss. If it hits me one more time, Takedown should start out damage. Flail should out damage Takedown. And this is a lot safer. I don't want to get crit again. Yeah. As long as... Okay, yep, I didn't get crit, so this should do a lot of damage to the other Magikarps. I don't think he has another level 15. I am starting to feel a bit better, but I don't want to push it. I hope y'all can get used to this sound, because spoilers, we're gonna have Flail for a long time. Thank you, Justin. A 1%. Whoops. I did not mean to press that. I meant to grab this. We might need that health on Beedrill. I think you have a Goldeen, which at max IVs can actually probably be pretty scary. Yeah. I think I got rid of Tail Whip or something like that because I thought Splash was funny, but right now I actually would have liked Tail Whip. I thought I was never going to click Tail Whip, but I might do that here. Oh, it is faster than us. That was bad. I think I'm just gonna hope it gets less hits here and I can Synthesis. Well, that works. Because 3 hits don't kill here. Only 4. It takes 4 or 5 to kill without crits. I'm expecting it to attack again. Yeah, with Peck this time. Peck is the more consistent damage, but it does less damage overall. We're gonna try to Gust here. Ooh, that sucks. We lost a coin flip. And then we lost the other coin flip. Peck does kill here. But this is immune to Fury attack and should be fine against Peck. Goldeen is slightly buffed. I know Golion learned his Mega Horn earlier. I don't remember if Goldeen does, but Seaking learns Mega Horn a bit earlier. Because that's supposed to be like its unique thing, and it just doesn't really get to take advantage of it. Normally by the time you get Mega Horn, you're like level 40. Here it's like early to mid 30s. I think it's like 34, 33, something like that. For Mega Horn on Seaking. Okay, there we go. An actual useful move. And there we go. There's Fisherman Ralph. I think this is the guy who in the rematches has a Destiny Bond Quillfish. And that's how I learned what Destiny Bond is. I sent out my Lugia as a kid. I looked away, and the Lugia was dead. I never knew what happened until the next time I fought that guy. Youngster Gordon. This is one of the regular trainers who actually has increased IVs in the regular normal mode ROM hack. I believe he has like 15 IVs across the board, which is a lot better than the 0 he normally has. Mainly because I like the idea of Water Absorb Rooper kind of gives 2 of the starters a problem. So if you're not level grind, if you're like me and not level grinding, it could be a bit annoying, but we should be fine. I don't think Gust will do much, so let's go for the Poison Powder, and we missed. I'm not really scared of Wooper damage-wise, so let's just get the Poison Powder off and then Synthesis up. I don't remember if it has a normal type move. There we go. Now we just Gust and get that consistent damage. This is kind of a lot of what Chikorita does if we were using it, where we would have the Leech Seed to do consistent damage, and then you would just click like an accurate move to get that extra chip on top of it. Like, you could just click Pound over and over and just like heal from the Leech Seed, get the damage off the Leech Seed, and just kind of just pretend the opponent doesn't have a defense stat. Like, Chikorita, that line is very good at just kind of melting things consistently with, like, Leech Seed. I think it gets Poison Powder. Razor Leaf is a stronger stab move than Water Gun or Ember. Gaia's the lowest level, but, like, we're gonna be seeing a lot of them, and like, Gaia's a permanent team member. They'll have their time to shine. Oh, I did not plan for this. I forget what you give me. Poison Barb. I forget if I'm using a poison type on my team, but if so, that's actually really cool. That's at the very least good on Taranza for now. I'll need to check if I have a poison type plan, because that could be interesting. Let's see, we have you, Poliwag. We have that thing, we have the other thing. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna have a poison type on my team. Long term. But that is cool. I know I said I'm gonna be cutting out any encounters that Seal99 Plays hasn't found. But there's one I want to show off with the fishing rod that I know people aren't going to find unless they're reading the documentation. Or at least they're not going to find it unless they check the Pokédex way later. So I'm going to cut until we get that encounter. Oh, that was pretty quick. So yes, in a few places, you can get Remoraid a lot earlier in this game via the old rod than you could before. I believe up to this point you can get it in Violet City, Ruins of Alph, and this current route, Route 32. We're gonna try and catch it. Fury Attack? Yeah, you should level Fury Attack, even with 5 hits. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like this a lot because Remoraid is like one of the more interesting Gen 2 Pokemon. And then they just kind of lock it till after you've beaten Team Rocket. So you don't even get to appreciate the fact that it does things like that early game. I'm pretty sure I didn't buff this thing. But I know damn well it just has that. Like, it has incredible coverage you don't really get to see that much of. Let's just go with a Pokeball. There we go. I do not have a nickname for this. So let's just wield a gun. Yeah, no, like, that thing gets really good coverage early on. Like, we're talking Water Stab, Side Beam, Aurora Beam, it can learn Bullet Seed. Like, what does it have right now? Yeah, that's good. But normally you can't get it until a little pond to the east of Mahogany Town, which you have to beat Team Rocket to access. And it's just kind of sucky, because, like, by the time you get it, it's ready to evolve into Octillery, and a lot of things have good coverage. You don't get to appreciate how good this coverage is for early game. I forget if it's like a 5 or a 10% encounter. It's not common. Magikarp is definitely the most common one. Hold up, I need to think for one moment. Oh, that has a Rossberry. Oh, and it's timid. That's good. Yeah, I was just kind of looking at the team for one moment. I meant to press move items because I want that berry. Whoops. Forgot about this guy. If I remember correctly, this guy canonically trained under Falconer. So I think he's another one who has kind of like better IVs than normal. But everyone has perfect IVs on this version, so that's not that big of a deal. Okay, there we go. I am starting to feel a bit better. I still definitely have some sinus issues going on. Oh, you have a gust, don't you? I would show off Tambora more, but we're approaching a bug-type gym, and it's gonna be a while till we get our actual fire type. It will have time to shine. That was a solid Psy Wave. Here we go. Not really much to say when it comes to fighting Birdkeeper Peter. That did nothing. Even at lower defense, we should take a peck pretty easily. A crit might be a problem. Yeah. We do die from here if it's like a high roll or a crit, so... You know what, Tambora? Come on out. You're doing so much better since you got Ember. Like, Gamodest was really hurting. I think we get a new move here? No, it's next level, next level. Yeah, let's have Beedrill learn this. This is buffed Rock Smash. It always lowers defense, I'm pretty sure. And I'll take that over buffing our own defense. You know what, let's actually show off Tambora. I know Guy is just sitting there looking sad, but don't worry, buddy, you'll do good. Gaia has a bright future ahead of her. And I think, for now at least, we should give that to Misdreavus. No Misdreavus. Named after a Pokemon Conquest character, which we're probably going to change that since the game doesn't let us actually input it properly. You know, there's a Pokemon Center right here. Let's just heal up right quick. And here we go into Union Cave, which I am real excited to talk about, because there's actually a lot of encounter changes here. In fact, I forgot to buy Pokeballs in Violet City, so I'm going to cut right back to where we get into Union Cave, so be right back. And we are back. I bought 10 Pokeballs and 1 Premier Ball. And I also switched out Gaia for Glenn because I think having a status element that does not kill the opponent will be very useful for one of these Pokemon. One of these Pokemon is going to be harder to catch. Actually, you know what? I want experience on Tambora because it learns a move next level, so let's keep you out in front first. But yes, Union Cave. I quite like this area. Let's see if we can find anything for our first encounter. Nope, we just found a normal Geodude. Yeah, let's just run here. Let's fight this hiker right quick. Now then, even with Ember, it is an Onix, so we should do decent damage here. We just gotta watch out for Screech, obviously. Onix isn't that threatening. His only real stats are defense and speed. Okay, we are switching because that's going to take forever. Into Glen we go. Just because Bubble was so weak, this should still take a couple hits. I think we get Water Gun soon. At the very least, we'll have Water Gun in time for Whitney. And there we go, there goes Onix, which should still give decent EXP to Tambora. I mean, if that XP bar is anything to go by, Tambora is pretty well on its way. You can kind of see feet at the top of this screen here, but we have a trainer up ahead. What encounter is this? Please be new. Nope, it is just Geodude again. You know what, we will Ember you. Let's see how much this one does. Not enough to be worth it on a wild Pokemon. If it did, like, a third, I would have probably kept doing it. So, I switched the teams of 2 of the Fire Breathers in here. And kind of changed the lines in order to reflect that. Like, this guy no longer has a Fire type, because I think a different trainer has his Fire type now. So now, instead of saying his Pokemon lights up this cave... Oh, I guess we'll see that when we defeat him. He has a different defeat line, basically. Fire Breather Ray. Because normally this guy has a Vulpix, and that lights up the cave. But in order to make another line more accurate, there's a line in this cave that references a Pokemon that's no longer here. That I moved to somewhere else. So there's some problems with line consistency, so I changed some of the lines to make that still be accurate. Which eventually spiraled into me swapping 2 teams and changing one of this guy's lines. We should see it in a moment, after we take out his second Coughing. That is buffed Poison Gas. It's not much. I think it has a little bit extra accuracy. It's still a bad move. I'm not of the mind that every move needs to be good. Some moves can just be absolute garbage you're meant to replace, or absolute garbage that you have to deal with the enemies using. Like, Poison Gas is still bad. It's just slightly better now. And we learned Mud Slap. This is a TM in Crystal, and Cyndaquil can learn it in Gen 2. And I think it's a cool little neat coverage move. I can totally imagine this being a type of Pokemon to just play in the mud. Come on, Sagaline Ray. Yep, it's his fire that lights up his cave. Normally it says it's his Pokemon that lights up the cave. Nope, now he takes all the credit for himself. Because he no longer has that Vulpix. Okay, let's switch out to an actual Pokemon now. And I don't want Tambor to be hurting, so let's just use that antidote. An actual Pokemon we want to be using. So, there's an encounter down here that does not appear on the other floor. And let's hopefully find it. It's pretty rare. I'll cut to where we either find that or another new encounter. After we get the items that are down here. Like the X-Defend, and then there's a Rock Tomb down here. Oh, and an X-Speed. I'll be honest, I was just kind of mashing, assuming there might be something. I wasn't 100% sure. Yeah, this is not buffed Rock Tomb, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's still 80 accuracy, and I'll be honest, I don't know why I did that. I should have buffed it to 90. Oh, I did. Actually, it might be 90 normally. I'll let y'all know if it is. But I seem to remember it being strangely bad, normally. Anyways, I will see y'all when we encounter something interesting. Okay, and here is indeed something interesting. Sandshrew. Normally, this is normally Ekans and Sandshrew are version exclusive. But in this ROM hack, they are not. The version kind of determines how common they are in their respective areas. But you can still get them both in this. And we are going to try and catch Sandshrew. I think Sandshrew is really fun because it's not as fast as Diglett, it's not as strong as Stampy or Geodude, it doesn't evolve into Steelix like Onix. But it gets a lot of neat utility moves early on. Plus, it learns Sword Stance by level up. Like, it learns Buff Sand Tomb, it learns Poison Sting, it can benefit from Cut, which we'll get to Cut later. Obviously, it learns Rock Tomb. I like Sandshrew a lot. It was in contention for me using it. But, like, I really like Donphan, and I wanted to show off mostly Gen 2 Pokemon on this team. Like, I know Poliwrath is, like, Gen 1, obviously. Which, spoilers, it is going to be Poliwrath instead of Politoed. But, like, most of the team we're using is going to be Gen 2. Yeah, let's use the Pokeball. I really want to save the Great Ball for something else. Yeah, Sandshrew is really fun. Maybe not the strongest, but it is fun, and I would definitely recommend people give it a shot. It gets replaced by a different ground type at night, so be sure to look out for that. I think they both might appear in the morning, but I think Sandshrew is more common in the morning. Yeah, this was definitely a Pokemon that I was considering using, because I like Sandshrew and Sandslash a lot. And I think they're real fun to use. Oh, we learned Water Gun. Okay, the fact that that took 3 minutes on speed up for what is supposed to be a decently common, I think like 10% encounter, maybe 5%, is kind of crazy. This is not the rare encounter, but this does replace Zubat in this game. Now, why is Zubat not here? Well, first off, I just wanted to introduce Zubat a little bit later than normal. But also, you can only have so many unique Pokemon on a route in terms of the game's programming. I wanted to put Grimer here, because I wanted Grimer to be available. I like Grimer, and it's like usually not available. So it's in a few places where you'd expect a high amount of people to pass through. Like, this connects Azalea Town to the entire eastern half of Johto. There's a lot of people in here, probably because there's just a lot of reason to travel through here. There's some pollution here, so even though it's a cave, Grimer is here. There's a couple other interesting spots where we can catch Grimer later. But for now, we're gonna catch one here. fact that it took this long to find this bodes really well for the 2% encounter we're looking for. Okay, I'm not even gonna bother trying to hit this thing at this point. Let's just catch it. Let's try to catch it. Crit kills. You're immune to everything. I don't think you killed Astonish. Well, you're not immune to that. I thought I didn't get that till later. And there we go, we have caught a Grimer. Which we will promptly name Blorbus. If I can spell correctly. There it is. Yeah, there's a reason this one's a rare encounter. I think it is kind of cool having a pseudo-legendary you can build up throughout the game. But, oh, it is very rare that you can actually find this thing. I don't really have a nickname for it. I also don't really have a way to damage it. I don't think a Rock Smash from Beedrill kills. Yeah, this took a good 15 minutes worth of speed up since the last one. Like Misdreavus, it took statistically longer than it was supposed to. This is a 2% encounter. We should have been able to find it. Yeah, no, you can catch Larvitar here. And it is very annoying to catch, which is why we have those Pokeballs and a status element that isn't Poison Sting. Pokeballs are money, and I would prefer to save money. So we're just gonna have Glenn use Hypnosis, chuck the first Great Ball, and see if that works. That unfortunately did not work, meaning we're gonna have a problem here. And that's that this might just go through all of our Pokeballs. This has, like, starter level catch rate, I believe. Okay, never mind, that was easy. I know I have a nickname for this, but I don't actually remember it. So we're just gonna name it Lil 2, because it's the other little guy of this cave. And now we can continue on with our adventure. I'm actually going to show off the Mud Slap a bit, because Mud Slap will be decently useful in here. Obviously, using a different Pokemon would be more effective. Lucky Mud Slap is still nice. You know, I don't mind wild encounters, but after doing that for 20 minutes, since going down there, I think I am actually going to use a Repel. And probably the next one after that. I'm kind of tired of Grimers. You'll be good EXP at least. Hiker Russell. I know some of these trainer names. Like, I know we have Hiker Anthony coming up. Hiker Anthony is iconic. Yeah, no. Mud Slap is just generally nice here, even with Stab, that's a little bit stronger than what Ember would be, despite Mud Slap's low power. Plus, this thing is going to have a hard time hitting us. It is just kind of better than Smokescreen. Don't tell my friend that, who going into the Whitney battle for some reason decided to keep clicking Smokescreen instead of Mud Slap and almost lost their Nuzlocke during playtesting for it. Friend tried to do their first ever Nuzlocke during a playtest of this ROM hack that went back when it wasn't even completed. And during Whitney, they really did just insist on using Smokescreen for some reason, not thinking about Mud Slap. Like, they got rid of a move. They got rid of Mud Slap in favor of a different move, and then kept Smokescreen, I'm pretty sure. But that was a year and a half ago, probably closer to 2 years, so I actually don't fully remember. Like, only 7 of the gyms would have been done at the time, I believe. Okay, yeah, we can just Ember Sandshrew. And there we go. Hamor grows to level 14, and I believe evolves here. Tambora is evolving. It gained a Mohawk. I won't lie, I thought Mohawks were so cool in 2nd grade until I actually got one. It wasn't good. I have too much of a baby nerd face for it to, like, look good on me. Especially since the Mohawks are pretty tall, so they just kind of become a nuisance. Like, you'd walk through a door and hit your hair on the door. Yep, this is another line of dialogue. Normally it's Zubat Supersonic keeps confusing my Pokemon. But there are no Zubat here, there are Grimer, so I had to change that line. As like, okay, his coughings he normally has can't be poisoned. So I took this guy's coughings, gave them to the other guy, and gave this guy the other Fire Breather's Vulpix. Which, conveniently for us, is weak to Mud Slap. Mud Slap is still bad, and Vulpix is decently specially bulky, or at least that line of Pokemon is. Relative to something like Cyndaquil is. Yeah, even if Mud Slap doesn't do much damage, it does do some damage on the right targets, and it makes it very hard to get hit. And there we go. Fire Breather Bill, I believe his name was, is down. I think for the next battle, next battle might be a problem, just because it's a bulkier Pokemon. Oh good, we replenish our Great Ball. Got a potion, which is nice. We're a bit low on potions, and I'd rather not spend my money. Oh, Togepi's hatching. Yes, I will. This is going to be Armstrong, because Togekiss reminds me of Senator Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising. Good game, y'all should play it. Please be a good ability, please be a good ability. Naive Nature, that's not bad if we get a good ability. We got a bad ability. mean, this thing wasn't going to be a permanent team member anyways. But yikes. No, I've already looked for enough Pokemon today. Larvitar took 20 minutes. Yeah, Pokemaniac Larry is going to be a bit annoying just because of his level. How much does Astonish do? I'm assuming not much, and super effective, but Slowpoke has high physical bulk. That's not bad, and it can flinch. I'm not particularly concerned about what you do, so I'm just gonna... Okay, Psywave could do a lot here, but it could also not, so I'm just gonna astonish you. You might have Water Gun, but I'm not scared of Water Gun. I'm also not scared of Tackle. Okay, we're switching to Psywave. I meant to click Psywave there. Forgot this game has a memory cursor. Okay, you do have Water Gun, which I've been getting crit a lot. That did more damage than I was expecting, for obvious reasons. Oh, I forgot I have that. Okay, as long as the next Psywave hit, 2 Psywaves should just kill here. We're going to be using Psywave for a while, because the difference between 80 accuracy and 90 accuracy Psywave is honestly pretty good. Like, Psywave is just a decent move now. And there we go. That could have been a lot more annoying if it just spammed Hypnosis. But nope, that turned out pretty well. And yeah, I didn't know until I started playtesting and did it on accident. There's this little gap here you can use to avoid this guy. I always thought he was a required trainer. Actually, I don't remember if he spins around, but I always thought he was always kind of like, you had to pass by his vision here. You couldn't really dodge him. I forget if there's a hidden item here. There is not a hidden item there. But there is an item there. There we go. Let's use the Awakening. Well, I think we should call it here today. We made a fair bit of progress. We showed off some new interesting Pokemon in Union Cave. We learned some new moves. Our starter evolved. And we even hatched Armstrong, meaning we could finally add our actual Pokemon back onto the team. But in the meantime, I think we call it here. Next time on WoofGold and Master Silver, we are going to do all that there is to see in Azalea Town. That includes Slowpoke Well, the gym, the rival battle. And we're gonna catch our 4th permanent team member. See y'all then.